Uranium friends, you look as I look. Starting off with CCJ, heck of a move, uber bullish, uber strong, all-time highs, right? So blue sky breakout for CCJ. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Have you missed the move? Well, maybe, maybe not, right? So CCJ is going to be it is the bellwether in the space, right? Regardless of what some people say, but CCJ is going to be looked at by anybody who missed this move or is starting to see the AI thing or whatever you want to call it. All right. Whoever missed this move is looking at this chart and say, all right, we're in a blue sky breakout with no follow through at the moment, but it is a blue sky breakout. It's got a huge option chain. It's very liquid. This is where the majority of quote unquote tourists are going to be looking. So, yeah, so these breakouts, there will be buying into this breakout. There will be maybe some trimming along the way, and there will be buying on the dip. So, in my opinion, I'm just worried about the dips more than anything else and trying to catch them, right? So, at the moment, I'm looking at this daily, and yeah, it's hot, but this is just representing just how strong it is. Some pretty big volume coming in this past week. It is slowing down again, but it was a Friday. We're starting to get a little bit wicky up top, like we've seen in other places where you kind of get a little bit of a pivot. So I'm truly looking for a pivot to be set. But, so let's just say I want to take this Fibonacci run right here. And let's just see what the extensions do for us on it because URA kind of had a little bit of the same type of action. So, yeah. Here's your first real pivot, and it really isn't even much of a pivot. Well, let's just say that it is. This thing didn't even make it to the 23% retracement on this little sideways consolidation, baby bull flag type of deal. Let me just see what the weekly looks like on that spot. Yeah, it's you can't even tell. So it's nothing. So again, it's a weekly stair step up, high or low every single week since the early September. We do have a gap here, and it is reasonable to think that that gap at least will be a little bit magnetic, especially since the 12 EMA is right there. Also, it's a dip to buy. In my opinion, I'm going to be a dip buyer in that area. There'll probably be dip buyers in this 55 area as well because this is a little bit of a back test of the breakout. So, back test of the breakout is going to be the dip, in my opinion, and I will be buying it. It's just that simple. But everything blue sky breakout on CCJ. We know CCJ is going to be one of the best movers and traders in the space because it has the liquidity and it has the option chain. So, yeah, dip buys are going to be the order of the day. And I will be keeping an eye. I have not been heavily keeping an eye on the charts and I have not been heavily keeping an eye on the space in general, but obviously it's time. So, DNN, another great move, right? So, shallow retrace into this value area. Previous videos I've identified this value area. It's plain to see, right? There's so much action inside these boxes. $1.42. I identified it a long time ago as a key level. Look where it bounced, right? For 2 months straight, it held the $1.42, basically almost to the penny, right? So important level, $1.42. So even for the long-term players, $1.42 is the spot. You want to be a buyer there. It's almost like I forget where I posted, but I said anytime URG goes anywhere near a dollar, I just buy it because it's an instant buy for me until something else changes. But we're on DNN anyway. So this monthly double bottom is set at $1.42, $1.40. We're through this value area, which is a great look. We're coming into spots of no resistance on this monthly, and we got room on this RSI, so it's got to get over that 247 level, and it's very little resistance on the way back up. There's another level at 371 that we would want to pay attention to if and when it gets there. Um, the daily's running hot, of course, just like the whole sector. Daily's running hot. So, if you look at Ben's East West video he did this weekend, don't be surprised that there's going to be consolidation. I'm going to be patient, right? I'm a seller in these areas. I am not a buyer. I'm a buyer on consolidation. When I get moves like this, I'm trimming. It's just normal for me. It's what I do. I know a lot of people in the space do not agree with that. They completely do not agree, and they let me know in many ways. But this is just what I'm doing. So any back tests back into this level, this 170, 180, $2 level, they seem like, as long as the bullish sentiment remains, they seem like the spots to buy. So the dips are going to be bought up. That's the way I'm seeing it in the space right now. Um, these moves probably caught some people off guard. Um, they didn't really catch, you know, the people that have just been sitting and holding. Hey, no big deal. If they want to make some trades and juice up their returns, they're going to have an opportunity. But everybody's going to be looking to buy dips in this sector unless the bullish sentiment does not return. So, key level coming up for Denison at $1.47. I'm sorry, 247. And then after that, we're going to lose a lot of our resistance. So it will come up into some key levels over here. We'll see how that plays out as time goes on. Encore Energy daily, has a little bit of work to do, right? There's a fight here. Anybody who remembers, we all just constantly fought at 5. So even when it gets through this area, this 430 to 440 area, 5 is going to be a bit of a problem. But this is a good example of where you can really put together a pretty good Fibonacci retracement target, right? So you've got a pretty clean. Let me just see what my I don't know why this is like this. So this should be here, right? So this is a pretty clean pivot off of the 50% retracement. So if there's an extension target, it's going to be to 50%. Uh, it's probably going to be front run. So you'll be looking at like the 650 to 750 area, I would say, 650 to 8. The ultimate target of this move right here on the fibs, right? So it would be a different pull here, but let's just stick with what we got here. All right, those are good hopes and dreams as well. I'm sure everybody's going to be very happy, and that will be quite the move for Denison. It will make a lot of shareholders very happy, I'm assuming. But again, with everything else, the pullback was creating double bottoms in the space, and Denison's no different. It's just kind of battling its 200-day moving average right now. So it battled it here. I'm sure I talked about it here too, right? So we want to get over. We want to back test it as support. So and literally, this is a get over with a little bit of an undercut. If you really want to look at this, the daily chart that way, right? The 200-day moving average is the white line. It doesn't change no matter what time frame chart I'm on, right? So this is always measuring the 200-day moving average. So it's bounced and come back and used it as support. So this is just what one would call an undercut. Very painful, right? Nice double bottom. So these are good bottoms right now, but that doesn't mean that they can't break, and it doesn't mean that we're not going to get a back test into these breakout levels. So this 382 off of this pattern, um, to back test this neckline with all of this interactions with this level, this 390 level becomes important, right? So that's how these charts kind of work. For someone who's trying to execute and flip through them or try to make a long-term position for the big nuclear renaissance that's going to happen whenever it happens. These are things that people are going to be paying attention to. But Denison also looks good, and is it running hot? No, it's all right. So Denison has room. Denison has room to take this level out and maybe start testing these levels up here before the RSI needs to cool off. But there's a lot of the leaders in the space that may end up causing some consolidation beforehand. And that's just, again, these are all, in my opinion, buying opportunities. The dip buys are important here for just about every big board name, in my opinion. I'm going to do the fuel in a separate, and the builders in a separate thing. This is just miners. So next gen also through some pretty important levels and trying to make its way up to, yet again, another all-time high, right? So I know that there's some fundamental people who think this is garbage, and the CEO and whatever you want to say, it's got one of the best assets on the planet. So they have something there. There is value. How the CEOs handle the money and the management and all that, and dilution, that's a different story. But this is a great deposit that they have. I'm sure it's a buyout candidate. I'm sure all these other fundamental things are coming into play. Um, Either way, it's been a great trader since I've been following the space, which is down in here, somewhere down in here, right? I kind of started following the space right in here. So I will continue to play next gen. Also a thriving option chain. Not as good as CCJ and URA, but it's there too. So next gen, just like everything else, I'm going to be repeating myself with these miners. Is it running hot? Yeah, it's running really hot. Does it get this hot? Well, history says it does, right? How far back can we go? Yeah, still, history says it gets this hot. So it's not unreasonable to see this 86, 88 RSI, 90 RSI. Well, 90 is not really. Where are we now with this one? So it's kind of coming to the spot where the RSI historically rejects. And it just made it through a pretty cool level here. So back tests again. When you get these shoot ups like this, these gap ups with nothing to chop around to create support, they can kind of come back pretty quick, and they leave a gap behind. And these moving averages are really spread out. So we want them to kind of consolidate and get back into this type of look. Right, so you get these these back tests back into these EMAs. I've done a ton of videos. Almost every time I do a video, I talk about the moving averages, the stack, and how they get spread, and how they want to reconcile. So it's spread to the downside, reconciling. Right now, this is a fast move. It's a hard and fast move. Coming back to back test some key levels, we'll be absolutely fine. But we're getting to see the space, right? We get it, right? NXE is just about to try to make it to blue sky breakout as well. So, $9, and it's going to be another all-time high. I'd be shocked if it didn't get there. I don't know if it's going to straight line it, but it could. It could in the next day or two, for all we know. UEC, same deal, right? It's all the same. UEC has some work to do, but this thing's going to be it's taking out its all-time high would be my guess. I don't know if it's going to do it this particular time around as it's running hot, but we get this nice bit of consolidation over here at this 12 EMA. When these EMAs get to catch up a little bit, maybe get a little bit of a curl down so we can just reconcile a little bit. That gives you the juice to get to the next leg up. So UEC is the same deal. It's coming into these levels. I mean, in my opinion, it's basically an all-time high. I mean, it's just very little left here to hold it back. So UEC looks fantastic, right? Regardless of what everybody thinks about management, right? So what's the difference? Maybe it's a crappy company. Well, it's on the big boards and it's got an option chain. URG, but different mover than the space, right? A smaller name. It will probably have its day. And, like I've said multiple times, and I've said it maybe in the video before, or this one, whatever it is, when it comes down into this dollar area, it's kind of an instant buy for me, right? So it's still, in my opinion, an insta buy, but it's just a matter of, is the rest of the space consolidation going to do anything to this? But look, nice breakout on Thursday. Nice little back test on Thursday and Friday. Held, filled this gap, right? So now we're coming up into this area. It's going to be a little choppy here because it was on the way down. Maybe some bag holders are going to be happy that these dip buyers are going to be happy they got out or whatever, and they want to get out break even. You don't know, right? So the next big resistance I'm seeing is right up here around $1.49, $1.50, right? Volume profile, interaction here, interaction here. Right, a lot going on up here in this $1.49, $1.50 area. So that's the next big resistance, 200-day moving average as well. So there's a lot there to say, hey, maybe there's some consolidation there. Everything seems to me, the space looks to me like the dip buys are the way to go. If you can get them, eventually, no matter what, there's going to be consolidation. There will be consolidation no matter what, right? So look at this run, which a lot of us caught. It was a beautiful run, right? Was there consolidation in there? Yeah, there was, right? Was it really shallow? Yeah, it was really shallow. But was there consolidation? Yes. So no matter what, there's going to be consolidation, and you'll get a pretty heavy bout of it somewhere along the line, right? So these consolidations, on this next leg up, hey, things might get very shallow as far as consolidation is concerned, but there will be consolidation. This is great. This is all great action, by the way. Higher lows, higher highs over and over. Really cool. Good stuff. Um, this is URJ differently than the other names we've looked at. Well, it's created some pivots along the way. So you can see the behavior on this stock might be a little bit different than the rest of the space. So maybe you get those chances for these higher low pivots, but that's what you're getting, right? Low, high, higher low, high, higher low, higher high, right? So now we're looking for the higher low, and this level, this $1.15, becomes important, right? So I would suspect, judging by the way this chart is moving, $1.20 area, probably going to be a bounce spot, right? You can see some rejections here. You can see some support here. $1.20, probably going to be a bounce spot. Um, Running a little bit hot, and the RSI, well, yeah, the RSI can go more. So that's the deal with URJ, URG rather. Sorry, UROY. I've always said it, not my favorite, but it's a channel, and it's been in this channel for a long time. It is peeking through. Interestingly enough, um, this to me seems like more of a proxy to the spot price. Um, if you want to back test the relationship with UROY and spot price, that's what I would look for. What leads it? Does spot price usually lead UROY, or does UROY lead spot price? Because if that's the case, then maybe we're looking for a laggard move in the spot price, or we're looking for some consolidation here. I don't know. I don't really play this name that much, but it's doing well. Also, it's running a little bit hot, just like the rest of the space. Uh, Really, truly, the only true royalty company in the space. So people who like royalties, they're going to want to be in that name. Energy fuels. Where to go there? Energy fuels. It's all about the boxes, right? And I've done many videos on the boxes. So you can go back on my YouTube channel and look. But I've always said that down in this box, it's a buy for me, and up in this box, it's a sell. Probably nothing has changed. If the space really, really, really gets going sustainably, I suspect that this box, the top of this box, could get breached. But quite literally, for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, this level has been huge as a rejection point. So let's just say $11 area. So until that changes, nothing changes, in my opinion. So that's where the world is valuating this stock. It's the top of the valuation, and the bottom of the valuation is about $4 or $5, really $4. That's what happens with this when you look at these charts, and you can say that, right? The fundamental guys might have a mathematically different story, but the market is telling you there's acceptance at $4, 4.50, and there's rejection at 11. It's just what the market's been telling everybody about this stock for the past 10, 15 years. So I'm sticking with that. But right now, it's looking good. It's fighting its way out of the top of the box. It's done that before. Is this different? Maybe. There's a lot of value. You could define this box in between the two boxes as a value area. So, the back tests, which are already completed there on the daily, held and it bounced. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see some back tests. I really want maybe even the undercut back into the box to the 12 EMA, $6 area. I could see that that would be the dip buy. The $6 area to me is where I want to dip buy this thing. Unless the space is doing something completely different. Now, these guys do have the rare earth metals part of their business. So I'm not discounting that either. So that's the big board miners. In my opinion, the dips are going to be the spots to be looking for ads. And that's that over and out.